down, you bastard!
Brought to you by supporters who probably have better taste than this schmuck.
Shockwave's the kind of character that gets done a lot. He's one of the G1 greats, so there are many options to choose from. Doesn't just apply to Legends either, there are plenty of them in plenty of scales. But talking about Legends, there are quite a few you can choose from. You've got the original Combiner Wars, which is great. You've got the Legacy version, which is not great. Magic Square and New Age, which are okay, I guess, but I'm a bit lukewarm on them. But what would be my favorite Shockwave? What would be the Shockwave I always come back to? Well, I mean, there's no point beating around the bush. You can probably tell from the title of this video. Iron Factory cooked with this, and I don't think another company has done better since. From a technical standpoint, I wouldn't say this is the cleanest Shockwave in gun mode. It's got some jank, it's very clearly parts shoved together. I think Mainline even managed to do the whole gun mode a lot better. But in terms of what I look for in a Shockwave, this is right up my alley. The purple on this thing is absolutely lovely. It's a perfect middle ground between the dark toy style and the pajama party toon style. It just really works for the design as a whole, and then it combines itself with the transparent pink, and that is cool. The transparent pink dots throughout, and it just really looks beautiful. And the mechanical detail is rather nice too. Lovely on the sides here. Yeah, it gets a bit messy to the front as the torso just sits there, but it's really nice. I love the front section being done in silver, and I really appreciate that it's simple to get into this part. A lot of Legends class Shockwaves overcomplicate this part of the design. In fact, I'd even argue the Siege version does as well. But this really works. It does lead to the hands just sticking out the bottom there, but it's a Legends figure. What you gonna do? It's an earlier Legends figure as well. I mean, later Legends figures would improve on the design a lot. But I think this is a really good way to do it, and I love how the inside there is also transparent pink. Really, really nice. There's not a lot I really have to complain about this mode. There's issues I take with the transformation later on, but as a nice, simple Legend Shockwave, I think it does it really well. For the time, there's not a lot they could have improved upon. They were kind of going into uncharted territory. And I mean, don't forget, at the same time, Fans Toys Quakewave was coming out where this entire section parts formed. And then Iron Factory just makes it included and nice and simple. So I really got to commend them for that. This mode isn't really why it's my favorite Legend Shockwave, though. Honestly, it's the robot mode. So I don't have a lot to say about this one. It's just a nice, beautiful, functional Shockwave gun. Functional in more ways than one. But that's another story for another time. For now, he is about 11.8 centimeters long, 3.8 centimeters wide, and 7 centimeters tall. Size-wise, here he is next to a standard Legion figure, a standard Core Class figure, a standard Modern Micromaster, a standard Modern Minicon, a not-so-standard Lego minifigure, and crumbs. Transformation is very G1. If you've ever transformed a G1 Shockwave, you pretty much know how this goes. And a lot of this stuff would become commonplace on other Shockwaves later down the line. This section untabs and moves to the top. This section rotates upwards. And we'll leave that there because that can fold into the back after we've fixed everything else up. Separate the legs. Bring the legs down so that we can bring this panel up. Use the Iron Factory double hinge system and fold that back into place. That's one gripe I have with the transformation, among other gripes I take. I've never liked that transformation step with Iron Factory. I think the Combiner War style where it actually locks into place is a lot better. But you then rotate it around, and then hinge down and fold that into place. The other issue I take is that a lot of the parts have very annoying clearance issues. Like, the feet will come out just fine, no problems there. But these bits, they're a little bit annoying if you don't push them in. Some people on their copies even have them so tight that they actually need to get a tool in there. And that's unfortunately inescapable with the head. When you bring the arms down, as you do, bring them into place with the fists folding out, just normally, rotate into place. The head, unfortunately, does require a tool to get out. Is this a cardinal sin of Transformers engineering? I'm not too sure, but my fingers are way too big to get it out, and that's what it is. Anyway, last but not least, you fold that down, and you fold the backpack in, and hey presto, we're done. Now this is the kind of Shockwave I like. Technically speaking, it's not the best built Shockwave, it's not the best engineered Shockwave, not the best painted Shockwave, but it just does everything that is right up my alley. Again, the transparent pink is just resplendent. There's not as much of it here as there is in the gun mode, but what is here is just gorgeous. And the silver peeking through is lovely as well. Peeking through on the biceps, peeking through on the feet, peeking through on the sides and the thighs. Silver thighs save lives. This is really lovely. Head sculpt is also absolutely gorgeous. You got the black detailing, the pink eye, the perfect proportions, way better than the Blockies version, the nice silver ears, it is just lovely. It even has light piping, though at the moment I can't seem to find my LED to show how it works, so I might just have to superimpose some footage later on in there to show how it works. The one thing I really like about this is the proportions. Especially for both Shockwave and Soundwave, I love when they have nice, big, chunky legs. And this is no exception. This one just works really well. It gives the two of them the real utilitarian vibe, and I know I keep using that word, but they are the second in commands of the Decepticons, so they need to get shit done, and they need big, beefy legs to do that. It's just an aesthetic choice that I really, really like. And if you want to get shit done as well, he actually comes with alternate hands. Yes, I didn't actually lose them this time, unlike Soundwave. Weird that the older figure still has them. You've got 2 open hands, 1 salute, 2 5mm, and 2 closed fists. The closed fists are basically what's required to transform, so I usually just leave 1 closed fist there and 1 kind of gun there. But the option is there if you so desire. I love the way this looks. A lot of the detail finally comes through with the greebling on the front. Would have been nice if some of that was in gun mode, but it's still absolutely lovely. I know on a technical level, the other Shockwaves probably are better built. I mean, they've got better plastic quality than this. Better engineering, technically, aside from the Legacy version. In fact, just forget the Legacy version, it just is not on this level. They have better articulation, all of that jazz, but I can't help but love this Shockwave. This is my Legends Shockwave. This is my definitive Legends Shockwave. And that's the real beauty of Legends class. There's so many versions that there's always one that's right for you. Sometimes you might have to go back on the aftermarket and spend ridiculous amounts for it, but eventually you'll find one that you vibe with. And I think that's a real beautiful thing. In fact, it's also shared with mainline in general. There's so many toys, so many things to enjoy, so, you know, we'll go for the one that you like. Articulation's pretty good too. Nice ball jointed head, upward shoulder because of the transformation, ball joints at the shoulders. Would have been nice if this part moved separately, but yeah, it's alright. Bicep swivel and an elbow that goes way beyond 90. Bit of inward due to the transformation, but I don't tend to use that. And a wrist swivel that doesn't really make much sense on the gun. To access the waist swivel, you do have to untab the backpack a little bit, but it's still rather nice that they included it in there. You got separate side skirts to allow you to move the hips all the way out, and they're unimpeded forward as well. Nice thigh swivels that are toleranced really well for being all painted. Technically a double jointed knee, but you don't really need the double joint given this part goes so far back. I guess it's just to feel a bit more natural, but you know, the option is there. And ball jointed feet that work really, really well as an ankle tilt. Anyway, size-wise, he's about 6.5 centimeters by 10 centimeters. And for one last time to close everything out, here he is next to a standard Legion figure, a standard core class figure, a standard modern Micromaster, a standard modern Minicon, a not so standard Lego minifigure, and crumbs. Now, is this better than the Combiner Wars version? Yes, absolutely, it's just brilliant. But do I prefer it to the Combiner Wars version? Almost. I would say they are on the same level in terms of personal enjoyment. Although it's technically better, I get equal levels of enjoyment out of them. And that level of enjoyment is as high as it can go across the board. I love transforming this. I love the aesthetic. I love the density of it. It is everything I love about Iron Factory. Simple, but effective. And not afraid to play around with the aesthetic. They make it work on their own terms. If you want a great Shockwave in your collection, you really can't go wrong with this one. For the KO, I don't know how they've changed that. They could have made some disastrous modifications. But for the original Iron Factory, I absolutely love it. And that's it for the Legendary episodes. It's just one more full review tomorrow. But where do we go from here? Well, you might have guessed already. We've covered the Iron Factory RC sets, and we've covered Iron Factory Shockwave. What's significant about these two in relation to tomorrow's video? And why do I have the Magic Square set on my desk here? And who did I have previously? See you all tomorrow.